Imagine waking up in America, staring at a pile of bills and feeling that knot in your chest tighten all over again. You wonder if there's more to life than this grind. You wonder if it has to be this way. I asked myself that question every morning until one day I just packed a bag and moved to Asia. And what happened afterward changed everything. I wasn't rich, I wasn't retired, I was just tired. Tired of the rat race that never ends, tired of inflating rents, and tired of waking up anxious before I even poured my first cup of coffee. In Asia, I found a pace and a possibility that felt like freedom. Over the next 10 minutes, I'm going to walk you through how leaving the US improved my life on almost every level, financially, mentally, socially, and why it might do the same for you. First, let's talk money. In the US, that monthly paycheck can vanish before you blink. Rent eats almost half, utilities next, then insurance, groceries, car payments, on and on and on. I remember my rent in Tennessee, $1,000 a month for a cramped apartment with no view. I'd pour hours into work just to cover basics. By the time that I paid bills, I had $500 left for savings. It felt like running on a treadmill, going nowhere. Contrast that with my life in Cambodia back then, and later in Malaysia and Vietnam. I moved into a modest one-bedroom apartment for $100 a month in Siem Reap. That apartment had air conditioning, a reliable internet connection, and a small balcony where I drank morning coffee, listening to birds instead of traffic. Utilities were included except electricity. My rent in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia was $350 a month for a full apartment with a gym in the building and a city view. Suddenly, that same hours of work paycheck stretched far beyond basics. I ate street meals for $1 or $2. I took tuk-tuks for $1 and still saved enough to travel on weekends or even invest in small side projects. Waking up without checking my bank account 3 times a day, that was real relief. But this isn't just about cheaper rent or $2 meals. It's about what you gain when money stress disappears. In the US, I rarely felt present. Even on vacation, I'd fret about bills back home or stress about work deadlines. Once I moved and my cost of living dropped, I found time to breathe. I swapped anxiety for afternoon reading in a hammock, morning jogs by the river, evening chatting with friends over cheap local food. That mental shift isn't subtle, it's profound. I found my creativity returning, my sleep improved, I started enjoying the small moments again. You realize how much of your energy was spent just surviving, and once that pressure lifts, everything opens up. Healthcare always scares people considering a move. I get it. In America, a single ER visit can cost thousands. In Asia, I walked into a private clinic with no insurance, explained my issue, and I paid $20 to $30 for my consultation and treatment. When I needed a dental cleaning, I paid $15 and got same-day service by a trained dentist who spoke decent English. For anything major, I could plan a quick trip to Bangkok or Kuala Lumpur and still save a fortune compared to US rates. That sense of security, knowing you're not one accident away from financial ruin, changes how you live day to day. It also gives you the courage to take small risks, try new things, and enjoy life without the constant fear of financial catastrophe. What about community and belonging? In the United States, life often feels isolated. Even in big cities, people keep to themselves. In Asia, I found neighbors inviting me to local festivals, coworkers and fellow expats sharing tips over coffee, and strangers stopping to help when I got lost in a market. Once in Cambodia, the sole of my shoe completely fell off walking down the road. A local shopkeeper not only helped me, but insisted on finding super glue and putting my shoe back together for me. That kindness, that inclusion is everywhere once you lean in. You feel seen rather than a number in a system. It's not perfect everywhere, but if you take the time to participate, even just learn a few words in the local language, it pays off in a way that's hard to explain. You're not just surviving, you are joining something. Freedom means more than less paperwork or fewer bills. It's the permission to experiment in life. In America, starting a small side gig felt like battling regulation, taxes, and endless forms. In Asia, I met people running small guest houses, cafes, and online businesses, or even teaching English, and more often with minimal startup cost. They just did it. The local mindset, if it can work, give it a shot. That energy rubs off on. I launched small projects, tested ideas, and even started started making these videos because I saw opportunity instead of barriers. Sure, nothing is perfect. Visas require attention, renewals, paperwork, occasional bureaucratic headaches. They come with the territory. Language barriers surface when you need things done. But the trade-off, I traded relentless stress for manageable challenges. There's a cultural learning curve. I've had moments where small gestures felt confusing, like learning to haggle politely in markets or understanding unspoken social norms at a temple. But those moments teach you patience. You adjust, you adapt, you grow, and each small victory builds confidence. You learn you're more capable and resourceful than you thought. You'll be surprised how fast you adjust. Ordering food, setting up utilities, renewing your visa, it becomes second nature. The rewards are worth it. Peace, time, space to think. Maybe you worry, what about my family, my roots? I understand. I video call relatives, I plan annual visits, and I keep up traditions even remotely. But when I come home refreshed, not drained by financial anxiety. That means I'm more present with family during visits. It's a different relationship with home, one where I choose when to return, not because I have to. Safety, I've walked through the streets at night in KL and Siem Reap feeling far safer than most parts of the US. Emergencies happen, but the systems I've found are responsive and affordable. That peace of mind strengthens your overall sense of well-being. By now, you might be thinking, could I actually do this myself? Start with research. Take a short trip, test it for 30 days. You don't have to leap blind. But know this, life doesn't have to be this hard. There's another path. I found mine and you can find yours too. And if you're curious what this actually looks like month to month, check out my video on how $1,000 in Southeast Asia compares to $3,000 in the US. It breaks everything down. If this resonated, hit the like and let me know in the comments. What's the one thing you'd miss? And what's the one thing you'd never look back on? I'll reply to as many as I possibly can. If you're thinking of making videos like this yourself, I'll drop a link below to the mic I use. It's cheap, solid, and just works with a few features I haven't seen on really any other mics. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.